Hello and welcome everyone, my name is Cypress and we've been burning and setting things on fire for the past 4 videos. So now I'm bringing you the artifact weapon for Fire Mage, and let's get started because the last 2 videos, which you should totally check out, they're long and full of detail and interesting synergy of the Fire Mage, which is I like a lot, and it's lots of fun even doing the videos themselves. Let's get started because I wanted to keep it short for this one. Hopefully I can do it. With the first one I'm going to show, it's called Aftershocks. Flame Strike counts down 1 additional pillar of fire each time it casts. So Flame Strike, I don't use it a lot. I think this is more of a PvE talent. It could be used in PvP in specific cases. For example, I have the Storm, a big group in the center. You can instead of Pyroblast at that time, you can start casting Flame Strikes and bring your damage a little bit higher than it usually is, but it's not going to be too much. It's just a little bit of an extra flavor. Now let's go to the next one. Burning Gaze increases fire critical damage you deal for 4%. Now this is pretty cool because the whole mage spec, Fire Mage spec, rotates around you critically striking, getting heating up proc, and then turning that into a hot streak. So increasing your crits is gonna mean increasing most of the damage you do via your Phoenix Flame, which guarantees a critical strike chance on the target. Also your Flame Blast, which also guarantees critical strike chance on the target. And you have 3 stacks of each of those, so 6 total critical strike chance in a row, plus your critical strikes from your pyros, scorches, everything, bigger ignites, everything. So that's a pretty good talent. Overall, Burning Gaze. Let's go to the next one. Pyroclasmic Paranoia. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, but increases damage dealt by a Pyroblast by 6%. I think this is gonna be your go-to, like what you should get, and that's the relics over here at the top. You have 3 relics. Currently I have only 2 because that's all I have found doing PvP. 2 relics. But I think you should aim your relics towards your biggest damage dealers, which is your Pyroblast. Essentially your Pyroblast and Ignite and Phoenix Flames are gonna be your top 3, top 4 damage dealing abilities, switching up places depending on the situation. So that's definitely a talent mistake. Let's go to the next one. Fire at Will reduces the cast time of a fireball by 9%. This is also pretty cool because in the previous videos about the spells, and then the video for the basic talents and the honor talents, I talked about how I spec into let's just show you quickly, Tinder, which reduces the casting time of your fireball by 50%. Then you have another 9% on top of that. You reduce your casting time of a fireball by 59%. And Tinder gives you increased damage of that fireball by 30%. And Unstable Magic gives you another 50% additional damage to that fireball, and 25 chance for that fireball to spread that damage to everybody in 8 yards radius, combined with Configuration, which in turn your fireball puts another dot on the target that flares up and does more fire damage all the time, and it spreads to nearby enemies, and you get this huge ball of everybody burning, running for their life. Nah, I'm just kidding, but you look at everybody burning. So a lot of synergy plus kindling. it makes it beautiful synergy and fire starter. Fireball reduces the cooldown of your combustion, which is the biggest, what you aim to do. Reduce your biggest cooldown all the time. So pretty useful talent overall. Maybe a little bit under pyroblast damage, but definitely a useful one to be taking. Increase the damage dealt by the next one is Reignition Override. I think I'm pronouncing this correctly, but if not, let me know. Increase the damage dealt by fire blast by 25%, kinda 24%. Not bad. Fire blast does crit all the time. It's guaranteed crit and does good damage. Not bad. So increasing that damage, also put it in the same boat as the reduced casting time of fireball, because you do have 3 fire blast with flame on talent, which is this one gives you another 2 charges, so 5 charges total of fire blast, and you're going to be using it all the time. So you're going to have a lot of different sources of damage for the fire mage. It doesn't come just from one. Pyroblast is your main damage dealings, but how do I explain this? Fire mage combines everything: ignite, fireballs, phoenix flames, fire blast, to do this damage in a beautiful synergy between all of those to that makes up your damage. I don't know how to explain, but it feels beautiful when you play it. Blast Furnace. Fire Blast deals additional fire damage of 9 seconds. Other than that, pretty good. Not bad, because you're going to be fire blasting all the time, essentially. Now, this Molten Skin. Molten Armor reduces all physical damage you take by additional 10%. Pretty good. You're going to be chased all day long by melee. I've been playing this for 3 seasons or 4 PvP seasons. I've been playing Fire Mage, I think 3, and I've been chased by melee all the time. You're the go-to kill target in arena. BGs, melee, especially Demon Hunters now, love to chase you around. So this is going to help you a lot. And let's go to the next one. Wings of Flame. Increase your fire damage you deal by 3%. Now everything you do is fire damage. You don't have any other source of damage. It is fire damage. So that's going to be even higher, I think, than Pyroblast. So because it's going to increase Pyroblast, but it's going to increase every other spells in your book. Just everything is fire. So every single dot, ignite, everything is going to be increased by Wings of Flame. So that's going to be a number 1. That's why they put it in the middle, I think. It is they joking around with us or something. That's why they put it here. That talent is pretty good. That should be your go-to. And then maybe Pyroclasmic, Paranoia second. And then these 2, Molten Armor, whatever you can do after that is a plus. Let's go to the Blink. Catalyzing Blink. Activating Blink heals you for 15% of your maximum health. And you can increase that with relics over here at the top. You have 3 of them. You can increase it. But I'll leave it just as it is. It's just a small heal. But it's going to help you sustain yourself and stay in the fight. Not die to lock dots and stuff like that. So it's going to help you a lot. So pretty good talent overall. Let's see, did we not cover something? I'm kind of avoiding this one, but let's cover it. Pyretic Incantation, if I'm pronouncing this. Each consecutive critical strike you deal increases critical strike damage you deal by 5%. So what does this mean? Basically, as long as you don't stop critting in a row, you're gonna have a damage buff each crit is gonna give you 5%. So you crit once, 5%. Second time, 10, 15, 20. You get my point. Pretty good, because combine this with everything that you have, or the way some people are using it, combining with flame cannon and rune of power, sitting in one place, critting all the time, and having this 30 rune of power is 35% currently for PvP buff, and cannon is 25 or 15. I'm sorry, 15. So that's a lot of buffs plus this, a lot of buffs and a lot of bursts at the same time. So this is pretty important over here, but I don't believe there is a rune that actually allows you to increase this at all. I might be wrong though. They might put something. Increases damage dealt by flame strike by 15%. Now this is probably the most useless talent, I think, of the whole bunch, the whole artifact. It's not super useless, but if you're like me and you never use flame strike, unless you're in specific AoE situation, there is more than 5 people standing in a small area, then you use flame strike. But otherwise, kind of useless, because I rarely see that situation happen at all. So not a good one. So avoid this if you can. Let's go to the next one. Scorched Earth. Casting Scorch grants you a 5% movement speed, stacking up to 5 times. This is awesome because you can Scorch all the time. I think they should have increased the actual movement speed stacking. Let me put it that way. The actual buff should be 10%, and the stacking should go to 3. Because I don't cast more than 3 Scorches most of the time in a row. So to get this buff means because you're gonna proc a crit from your first, second, or third Scorch, sometimes the fourth, but hopefully not. Hopefully you have enough crit to proc it on the third one. And casting it again to get the movement speed buff is gonna break your hot streak. It's gonna break your heating up proc, and it's gonna disappear. You're not gonna have it anymore because you didn't crit. So this is kind of but it is good. It's for chasing, for kiting around. Overall, pretty useful talent. But if you're skipping the previous talent, which is Blur Flame Special, you can skip this as well at the beginning of the expansion and just go to the good stuff. Let's go to the Great Balls of Fire. Increase damage dealt by Fireball by 12%. Pretty good talent. Like I said, I use Fireball a lot because I'm spec'd into configuration for BGs, and that's most of my PvPing. I do a lot of BGs currently. When the new season starts, I'm going to do a lot of arena, so I'm going to spec back to Pyromaniac. But for BGs, I'm definitely specking into configuration, and I'm using Unstable Magic combined with Kindling, combined with Tinder, which is Fireball, and Firestarter. So I'm casting Fireball quite often, or every 8 seconds, sometimes even more, so that gives it even more damage. So it's pretty good talent, combined with the reduced casting time of Fireball, and here 50%, 6% reduced casting time with a lot of damage. Pretty nice. The next one increases the range of your Dragon's Breath by 3 yards. Good utility spell. Don't use relics on it, definitely, but good utility. Another 3 yards. You're gonna catch even more people. You're not gonna miss breaths out of like latency. issues if you have. Not gonna miss them with increased by 3 yards. Pretty good. Increased damage though by ignite by 12%. Pretty good. Ignite, pretty awesome. Most of your damage comes from ignite. It's second or third or even sometimes first in damage, depending on the situation. In PvP, situation always changes. So depending on the situation, ignite could be in top damage, second or third, but it's always going to be around there. If it's not, you're doing something wrong. Okay, so let's go to Phoenix Reborn. Targets affected by your ignite have a chance to erupt in flame, taking additional fire damage and reducing the remaining cooldown of your Phoenix Flame by 10 seconds. So your aim is always going to be spreading your ignites in BGs, RBGs, and sometimes even in arena 5s, or there is no more 5s, but you know what I'm saying, like just spread ignite everywhere, because it's going to be your big damage. You're going to be able to keep up with Boomkins in terms of AoE when you're doing good spreads of ignites combined with the talents I showed you already. Hand configuration, pretty good. And let's go to this, and then let's go to the finally the artifacts. The only spell that you have that comes from the artifact is going to be Phoenix Flames, and that occurs a massive Phoenix that does 75%. I mean 75,000, but that doesn't matter right now because that changes. But what is my point? My point is that Phoenix Flames, it's your artifact spell, and it's very important for fire mages. And currently in the pre-patch of Legion, we don't have it, so that kind of reduces our capability by a lot. Some specs, whether they have the artifact or not, it doesn't matter that much. For fire mage, it does. Your artifact is one of the main things that makes you the burning beast that you are, and that's gonna be Phoenix Flame. So here's a Phoenix that causes damage, big damage to the target, and splashes to nearby. So another splash, another spread pressure. This damage is always critical strike. Super important. This damage is always critical strike. Why? Because it gives you another instant flame blast. Similar use. Flame blast. Another 3 flame blast. So technically you have 3 or 2 flame blasts depending if you spec into. Let me just show it real fast. Oops. What am I doing? What am I searching for? Here we go. If you flare up, gives you 1 more. If you're not specking to flare up, you have 2 flame blasts, and it becomes 5 with Phoenix Flames, which gives you 3 more. And Flame on talent gives you 2 more, so that's 7. 8 if you spect flare up. So that's 8 critical strikes in a row, combined with pyretic incantations or whatever it's called. Even more damage. It's nuts. It's nuts. And it's instant cast. You don't have to do anything. And the beautiful part about this is it hits as much as a pyroblast, if not more than a pyroblast. It hits humongous. It has humongous hits. Humongous. Pretty cool artifact weapon. I applaud Blizzard for this specific spec. Phoenix Flames. Awesome. It makes your build so fun and just interesting and just beautiful spec. So artifact weapons, super important, and I went over everything, but the main thing to get out of this video is that you're gonna start at Phoenix Flames, and then you're gonna branch out and get the abilities. Now, how you branch out is gonna be up to you, and you should plan your route on the artifact tree by tree on the artifact by prioritizing whatever is more important. For example, increase your damage. You're always going to take this talent, but for example, you might want a little bit of healing for blink. Take this one and go this route. Pyroblast damage right away. Awesome. Then reduce cast time, or take even this 5 critical strike damage. Whatever, you know. Take the route you think is going to be the best. But I'll leave these two for last probably. That's my plan. And going to this last section over here with the Phoenix Reborn also kind of last. And take the middle kind of part, the middle chunk of the artifact tree, especially pyretic incantations, immediately, as soon as possible. So that's my plan. Just going however I can, but getting this middle talents right away because they are super important. So fire damage increase, pyroblast increase, reduction in casting time is going to help me. The melee reduction is going to help me, and then pyretic incantation is going to be a huge part of the whole spec, the whole damage stuff right away. As soon as you get it, it's going to be a huge burst in damage right away. And then take kind of the ends, leave them, and take him last. So that's for this video. 21 minute long. I did it a little bit faster than the other videos, but like I said, Fire Mage is interesting spec that has a lot of synergy with different specs, skills. Check out my basic talent video, my honor talents video, and even the spells and abilities, how they combine and make this beautiful spec, and you just burn everything, and you know everything is on fire. And that's how Fire Mage kind of works. Everything is on fire, they die. So yeah, interesting spec, very entertaining to play and very fun. I like the spec a lot. Maybe I'm just a little bit like, because I've played Fire Mage and it's been my favorite mage spec for a long time, but just I feel like it's lots of fun and lots of little things you should know about this spec and what makes it good and how you can use it to your advantage. So if you like this video, leave comments if you have any questions, suggestions, anything you want me to show you, or any questions that you want answered. Leave it in the comments below. Subscribe or like or whatever you want to do. Give me a kiss or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like whatever you want to do it. And I'm gonna see you in the next video.